Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed live by Vienna Live with Simeon Moore and other third parties. If you prefer to not be recorded, please go to the LinkedIn live video feed, the link to which I've just placed in the chat room. This show thrives on participant contributions, and all participants are encouraged to actively participate in this webinar by asking questions and making comments. To do so, please write in the chat room or turn on your microphone and say hi. We'll be delighted to include your perspective in the conversation. Tonight, our featured guest is Anna Maria Mendieta, an award-winning harpist and creator of Tango del Cielo. Anna Maria? Take it away. Brava, brava. Anna Maria, so as you get yourself set up to talk to us after your performance, tell us, just wondering a little bit if I know that you're going to be performing in Carnegie Hall. Your Hall debut will be in a few months. Tell us a little bit about this upcoming debut and why that's so important.
Well, thank you so much. There are so many things, so many aspects to this award. First of all, I was awarded the opportunity to perform with a wonderful orchestra, the New York Chamber Players, and not only as a concerto soloist, but also to be able to premiere an original work. And so we'll talk about the original work a little bit later on in the show.
Anna Maria, maybe can you change to your microphone on
I'm
your
going to
phone so we
change
can hear
to,
you a little bit better?
yes, hold on, hold on. There we go.
How's that?
And I'm just going to hold the phone up. How does that work?
That's very good. Excellent. So
Okay, great.
we're going to watch another video of you performing. This is Asturias. Here we go. Okay, so Anna Maria, tell us a little bit. You're an outstanding harp virtuoso in the classical music world. You're renowned as that. Tell us, but there's something. How do I say? You've got a family secret, and that has led you
That's right.
into a new kind of, different kind of music. How we shall, or shall we shall say that you are broadening the classical music world. Tell us a little bit about this family secret you discovered.
Thank you so much. Well, that's something that is unique to our family is that everyone is involved in the arts, but especially with Spanish music and Latin music. I come from a family of dancers and musicians, and I fell in love with Spanish music from a young age. My father was the president of Theater Flamenco. My sister was a flamenco dancer, and many of my siblings actually also took flamenco, and I did as well. Now, as we established that passion for the Spanish music, I founded a group called Tango del Cielo and started a touring show. But Tango del Cielo means Tango of Heaven, and featuring harp with strings, percussion, and dance. And in the show, we feature a tribute to the silent films because it was through the silent films that tango was first popularized in the United States with the films of Rudi Valentino and wonderful, wonderful stars that just just took the tango and went to town with it. Well, my great aunt was Rudolph Valentino's co-star for many movies, and so much so that she was called and nicknamed the female Valentino. Her name was Nita Naldi, and there she is. That's right. My grandmother used to speak about her a lot, but I didn't really pay attention. In fact, whenever I would dress up for Halloween and dress up in 20s costume growing up, she would say, "You know, you have a relative in the silent movies." And I would say, "Oh, that's very nice, Mama, very nice." Just went right over my head. I didn't really appreciate what she was saying. And in fact, I knew some of the family lived in Los Angeles, and I just figured she was an extra in the movies. I had no idea she was such a big star until I actually was on tour with the show, the Tango de Cielo show, and we were touring for about gosh, a year and a half already with a particular show. And I asked my brother, who's a filmmaker, and I said, Bill, can you please put together a film montage of tango in the silent films, the silent movies, so that it would just give us a break to exit the stage, change costumes, and just have a breather. So I only saw the film once, and we toured it with it for a year, and I didn't know it, but Nita Naldi was up there on the screen. What had happened was we were planning the planning the program for the next series of concerts, and it was late at night, and I was on the phone with my brother Bill, and I said, Bill, did you know that we had a relative in the silent films? And he said, no way, really? I said, yeah. Her, and see, he didn't know this because he was just a baby when my grandmother was alive. And I said, yes, her name was Nita Naldi. And he said, Nita Naldi, I know who she is. She's up there on the screen with Rudolph Valentino in the show. And I had no idea, no kidding. And so at that point, I Googled her and so that I could see a picture of her. And sure enough, she had so many movies with Rudolph Valentino. I it just I was stunned by all of this. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be wonderful to see them dancing on the screen? So on with her list of movies, I was trying to see which movie might have a tango, and she was in the original Ten Commandments, Cecil B. DeMille's Ten Commandments. She was in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with John Barrymore, and then there was this movie Blood and Sand, which I knew the story, but it took place in Spain, and Rudolph Valentino plays the role of the matador, and she plays the role of the other woman. So I didn't have to. This was now 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have time to watch the whole film. So I okay, well let's click on certain scenes, and went through the list of scenes, and one was called the seduction scene. And I thought, well, if there was a tango, it would probably be in that. So I clicked on that, and to my surprise, well, she was a beautiful, wealthy woman. She had invited Rudolph Valentino over for dinner, the Matador. And after they finished dinner, the mood music changes, and she gets up from the table and she goes to the other room. And so I thought, okay, this is it, this is it, this is it. And guess what? She goes to her harp and she pulls the harp down on her shoulder and starts to play. And that was the seduction scene. Rudolph Valentino was enthralled, mesmerized by her playing, and that's how she won his heart. And so as I watched her play, I could see that she was really playing. You know, we can tell whether they're faking it or not. She was really playing. She was moving. I could see the discs above the strings move, so that meant she was moving the pedals. I could see she was following certain patterns and rhythmic patterns as well. And I about fell over backwards in my chair. I actually literally felt a shock go from the top of my head down to the bottom of my spine, just like in the cartoons. I actually felt that shock, and I couldn't believe it. And at that point, I knew I needed to find out more about her. So I wrote to the head of her fan club. She still has a fan club. And I told her, I wrote, well, my grandmother always spoke about her, but we never knew very much about her. Can you please help me connect the dots? And so, sure enough, yes, she studied music, drama, and in a boarding school, Catholic boarding school on the East Coast. She was a Ziegfeld Follies girl. She was a model, a Ziegfeld Follies girl, and then was discovered and brought to Hollywood and starred in so many movies with Rudolph Valentino because Rudolph Valentino's wife approved of her. She was the only actress that she really approved of. And so they became a threesome, very close friends, and the rest is history.
Let's take a look now at this fantastic trailer, and
Yes, sir.
Let's see what this looks like. Wow. Okay. So, Anna Maria, now tell us about this latest. You're going to be performing at Carnegie Hall this award-winning
Right.
new song or new piece called Al Cologne. Tell us a little bit about this, and let's watch. Then we'll watch the music video.
Thank you so much. Yes, I appreciate that. The part of the award that we won was to feature this beautiful original piece called Al Cologne by Jeremy Cohen. And the story is that he and his quartet San Francisco won the international tango competition in 2004. And part of the prize, the award, was to be giving a concert in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So they went and they performed, and at the end of the concert, the audience started cheering, Al Cologne, Al Cologne. And they wondered, what in the world did that mean? And not until after did he find out that it actually is the audience, it's the custom that when an audience loves a performance so much, they shout, instead of bravo, they shout Al Cologne, which is referring to the most famous and one of the finest opera houses.
Can I come in?
Cologne.
Anna Maria, can I break in? Is it possible? Could you change your microphone again? Because we're
Okay,
having a
hold
little
on.
bit of trouble hearing you.
Okay, thank you. Hold on. There we go.
That better?
How's that? Is that better?
That's much better. Thank you. Thank you. That's much
Fantastic,
better. Thank
fantastic.
you.
Okay, great.
So tell us again
Well,
about Al Cologne. Tell us about
yes.
this story.
Yes, well, the Al Cologne is referring to the Cologne Theater in Buenos Aires, and is composed by a friend of mine, Jeremy Cohen, who is a wonderful violinist, and he won the competition, the International Tango Competition, with his quartet San Francisco back in 2004. And part of the award was to fly down to Buenos Aires to perform a concert there. And after they performed, the audience started shouting, Al Colon, Al Colon. And they wondered what that was about. And they found out later that it was the custom that when an audience loves a piece, loves a performance, instead of shouting bravo or encore, they shout Al Colon, which means at the Cologne Theater. It was so good it should be performed at the Cologne Theater, which is one of the finest opera houses in the world. And so with that, he composed this wonderful piece called Al Colon, and I heard him perform it on the violin, and I asked him if he could create an arrangement for the harp and orchestra. And so we feature this piece on the album Tango del Cielo, and the album itself won awards. And I'm so happy that we'll be able to debut this piece with the orchestra at Carnegie Hall this coming year, 2024. Thank you.
Okay, let's take a look at here is Ana Maria performing Al Colón in Buenos Aires. So Anna Maria, so now we learned from you, at the beginning of the show, you're a virtuoso classical harpist, play these incredible concerti, and then you find out when you have this program, Tango del Cielo, this ensemble event show that you've created, then you find out that actually it's your great aunt who's starring together with dancing the tango with Rudolph Valentino. And then finally we get to see you there in Buenos Aires doing this incredible music. If your great grandmother were here today, what would you say to her?
Oh my goodness, I would give her a big hug and just say, look at what's happened. Look at what you started.
Wow. Well, it's just simply lovely. Let's take a look how we can stay in touch with Anna
Thank you.
Maria. So we have Anna Maria. You've got, I mean, tons of concerts coming up. Is that right? People on the East Coast or only on the West Coast, are they able to see your concerts? Or let's see.
Yes,
Here's the website
actually,
right here.
thank you so much. Yes, we have a concert, Tango del Cielo concert in Oregon next month, January 28th, Sunday in Klamath Falls, Oregon at the Ross Raglan Theater. We will be performing the whole show, Tango del Cielo, with tango dancers and flamenco dancers. We'll be featuring also showcasing, excuse me, in New York in a couple of weeks, and that will be January 13th and 14th at the APAP conference at the Hilton Times Square. There we go. Hilton Times Square, and that'll be Saturday the 13th, Sunday the 14th, and this is open to the public. So, check my website for those specifics, and I'll be there with Jeremy Cohen, the composer of the Alcalon, who will be joining me with the violin.
Okay, so reach out to Anna Maria. I'm putting right now her website in the chat room, annamariamendieta.com/concerts. You can get in touch with her, ask her any questions you want. She's there to answer your questions, to tell you, invite you to her concerts. So thank you so very much to Anna Maria
Thank you
Mendieta.
so much. Thank you.
Okay, let's take a
Thank
look
you for having me.
Let's take a look and see what's coming up next week on Vienna Live. We have Rotem Sivan, Dream Louder. According to Downbeat, Rotem Sivan is, quote, a remarkable talent and a welcome new voice on the scene. And the show description is, have you ever built castles in the air? If you have, Henry David Thoreau says your work isn't lost. That's exactly where they should be. Now put the foundations under them. So, we should dream louder. In his about to be released album featuring bassist Hamish Smith and drummer Miguel Russell, Israeli born guitarist Rotem Sivan shares an uplifting message of family, love, and humanity. Rotem joins our show to share with us his most potent and emotionally resonant project to date. Come welcome Rotem to our show. That's next Wednesday. Rotem Sivan, Dream Louder. As always, all information about upcoming shows is available at www.simeonmoro.com. Once again, thank you so very much to Anna Maria Mendieta. Thank you very much to Victoria and Frederick Mulligan, as well as Agnieszka and Benoit Rivolet for their support of this show. Thank you also to Mary Schlesinger for the lovely Viennese library you can see behind me. Most of all, thanks to you, our participants who make it all worthwhile. From New London, New Hampshire, and San Francisco, California, goodbye and see you next Wednesday.